Good Wednesday morning, guys. My name is Jerry Miller, and thank you kindly for joining us on Real Talk with Keith Smith. We enjoy connecting with you through the I Love CVille Network on a show today presented by Yes Realty Partners. Find them online at yesrealtypartners.com, a real estate firm, a boutique firm that is growing in numbers and growing in headcount. And you can see those beautiful people online on their website, yesrealtypartners.com.
We're doing a photo shoot tomorrow to get more pictures to put on the website.
New photos tomorrow. Yeah. We might as well weave Keith Smith in.
Yeah. Sorry about that.
No, that's fine. Well,
I'm reading. Kevin Yancey texted me something about most renter-friendly states in 2024. And
I saw that, Kevin Yancey.
Yeah. I'm trying to figure out is one the least friendliest or the most friendliest, and I'm thinking it's probably the least friendliest to the most friendliest. If that's the case, we're way at the bottom. But Kevin, if you can add some context to that, that would be great.
Stephanie Wells Rhodes watching the program. She has 3 grandbabies. She has 2 granddaughters and a newly born grandson. Corinne, her daughter, has 2 daughters. And her son, Brennan, is now a father for the first time. She says in the comment section, I feel ya, Keith Smith.
Oh, man.
I tell Corinne all the time that keeping a 3-year-old and a 21-month-old all day is a lot on us mature grandparents. Stephanie, of the Intrastate service company, ISC is a home's best friend.
Absolutely. Reach out to them. I'm not so sure I would put myself in the mature column as far as maybe in age, but not in my intellect.
Well, I mean, I'll tell you this.
It's a lot of work.
My wife and I, we talk about this pretty much every day. There was a time and place where we were I could stay up till 2, 3 in the morning and wake up at 6 a.m. every day for years.
How cute is that?
Our kids exhaust us.
Oh, yeah. Yeah. Wait till you become mature.
Exhaust
so
us.
It's funny you should say that. So little Harry's.
I mean, by like 9:30, 10 o'clock, I'm exhausted.
So
literally,
little Harry's bedtime.
Yeah.
I'm not really sure. We're calling it 8:30. I think it's actually supposed to be earlier than that. But we're grandparents, and Yonna and I are looking at each other, going, "So who's going to stay up?"
Yeah.
Right.
Who's going to get them in bed faster?
No, I mean,
Keith or Yonna or Harry.
We're going to beat this kid to sleep before he falls asleep, and it's like
our oldest is coming down the stairs sometimes well after 9 o'clock and just saying, "Hey, what are you guys doing?"
Yeah, let's
hang out. Dude, go to bed. What do you mean? What are we doing? We're in bed.
Hey, Dad, you want to shoot a game of pool?
The lights are off. What do you mean? What are we doing? Good morning, Kevin Yancey. Logan Wells Claylo, good morning.
Yeah.
He's got his 5-year-old grandson for the week.
How come you're wrestling mom? Right.
Yeah. Oh, Keith.
Sorry, couldn't pass that one.
Keith's got to go there.
I had to go there.
Keith's got to go there.
We're gonna have fun today. I'm done with decoupling. At least for today.
Inventory's picking up.
Well, yeah. Are we gonna talk inventory?
I mean, doesn't it seem like we got stuff coming on the market?
We do. It was interesting. I'm looking at 89 that came on the last 7 days. 92. I will add. The last couple of days, I've been I track this every day, because what else do we got to do other than take care of a 5-year-old is track this stuff every day. We're seeing the last couple of days with numbers inverting, right? That things are going like a couple of units more when pending that came on. They're not huge spreads, right? That delta isn't wide enough to be impactful, and it changes literally. It's up and down day by day. But, we're in the 80s. We've been up in the 80s, in the 90s, had a couple of hundreds new on the market. But the pendings are just keeping up in pace, right? So it doesn't really matter how much is coming on. What's going into pending is just coming off exactly at the same.
And this is despite what clearly looks like the Fed and Jerome Powell.
Oh, did you read that?
Yeah, ladies and gentlemen, we have some. We all follow this. Inflation is more persistent and sticky than anticipated. At the beginning of the year, there were 6 rate cut projections. Now they're talking about potentially zero
No.
rate cut projections for 2024.
No, there's some readings that I've been going in here that that there may be an actual increase.
Right.
Don't know how true that is. So now we
went from 6 at the beginning of the year. That's why everyone's crystal ball is murky as hell.
Yeah, I mean, they're we can crystal ball inventory, right? We can crystal ball increase in value. But what the Fed's going to do, hell, I don't think they know what they're going to do.
I don't think they know what they're going to do.
Yeah. So, I mean, it was an interesting article. I read it in Inman the other day that, that was like, what's going to happen if it goes up? Now, we talk about this all the time, right? Technically, the Fed rate does not directly impact the 30-year mortgage.
Good morning, Chuck Ramey.
Hey, Chuck. What impacts the 30-year make is kind of this, like the stock market, what the vibe is out there. That's because it's a market-driven thing. So it is connected to it. I think if it ends up going that way, I mean, we're starting to go in the right direction as far as developments go and building goes, right? Because some builders are being able to offer some discounts on the interest rates, which is an exciting thing to see, because they're basically buying the rates down for
their buyers,
their clients on that end of it. But I think if that Fed rate goes up, the cost of going ahead and doing new construction and development is going to go up, because it's always tied to prime.
Oh, 100%. And, viewers and listeners, let us know your thoughts. John Blair giving you some props on LinkedIn. We love you, John Blair. We appreciate your support of all our programming and all our content. I sincerely mean this. I was going to relay to the distinguished gentleman, and Judah, if you want to get a stump the lower third on screen, as we encourage the viewership.
You can use the word chump. It's okay.
I called you the distinguished gentleman. I'm not going to use the word chump. You're my friend.
Thank you. But one of my favorite shows was Click and Clack, the Tappet Brothers. I used to listen to that. Drove my kids nuts, because every Saturday morning I would listen to it.
You're aging yourself a bit.
I am aging myself.
You're talking about on the radio?
Yeah. We used to have rabbit ears and all that kind of stuff.
We could talk about how the commission could be considered now a seller concession. Did you see that with Freddie and Fannie?
Yes. So, we've talked about this before, right?
Yeah.
You're going to start seeing somewhere between now
I'm trying to find that so
and
I can
July.
read it to you. You follow it closely.
Yeah. I mean, look, the thing to talk about is that somewhere between now and when this is formally going to happen, you're going to start seeing a couple of things happening. One of them is, the regulators that are controlling the loans, particularly at the entry level, they're going to have to figure this out, right?
Right.
Because otherwise, there's just going to be so many first-time home buyers
that are out.
By the way, love that shirt.
Oh, thank you. This is the Mahala from Roback.
Mahala.
Yeah, the Mahala. Roback makes a fantastic product.
There you go.
Yeah.
So, you're going to start seeing that. The next thing you're going to start seeing, if not officially from the associations and all that stuff, you're going to start seeing it in contracts, because I've looked at a Northern Virginia offer the other day that they're starting to put in, and we're going to be doing it in our shop, putting in as an addendum, say, okay, guys, full transparency. This is how much the buyer's agent is getting paid. This is how much the seller's agent is getting paid. And all these mechanics are going to have to start happening probably in a much quicker pace, so that everything is in place and ready to go when this quote-unquote decoupling happens. But I talk about Pacific Northwest all the time.
You said not much has changed.
And there's two.
Right?
It really hasn't changed. There was a reduction in agents, because some agents didn't feel like they were wanting to participate in this, and that's fine. And I also can tell you, because I've made phone calls to folks, and I've mentioned this before, certain agents that are really, really good at what they do actually demanded more money. So this will be very market-driven, as it should have been, as it always was been. Should is a wrong choice of words. It has always been negotiable. Always, full stop, regardless of what the President of the United States says. It has always been negotiable. It's just now out there. and we're now having an open and honest discussion about it.
What'd you make of the real estate tax rate and the city of Charlottesville choosing to raise lodging taxes, meals taxes, personal property taxes, and raise the real estate tax rate?
So you got a budget
Yeah.
here. You got an assessment here on one end of the
Is
corner.
this where you go budget neutral?
No.
Is this where you go the legs of the stool legs?
Well, I was going to do a triangle, but we can do a three-legged stool. Same kind of concept.
How
It's
would
actually,
a three-legged stool work?
Pardon?
How would a three-legged stool work?
Well, you have to have 3 legs in order for it to stand up.
Would a three-legged...
I've actually used to do, I actually have a small 3-legged stool, and some people have seen me actually speak in years past. I used to carry a 3-legged stool to talk about things, right? So in order for that stool to stand up, you need 3 legs. So the 3 legs in the tax thing is the assessment,
Yeah.
right? That's got to get done. The budget, which that needs to get done, and then the tax rate, because all of those 3 together in local taxes need to equal a 0. Unlike the federal government that they don't have to equal a 0. I'm getting too political.
No, I like it. You're bringing the fire here.
The federal government does not have to have a balanced budget. Local governments and the state of Virginia has to have a balanced budget. And the way they have a balanced budget is our stool, right? Our three-legged stool. 3-legged stool. It's funny.
It's funny.
No. So how old is Trey?
6.
So is he like
6 and change.
It's like poop and fart.
I mean, yeah.
Yeah, they talk about all this stuff all the time, and we've never had little boys.
He sprints over and
We never had.
farts on me
Yeah.
on the regular.
Yeah. This is what he's doing.
Yeah.
And we've only had girls, right? Girls don't do that stuff, right? Little girls.
I mean, my better half is the boys. The dog is a boy.
Oh,
Max.
I feel sorry for her. I really do.
Have you met Max?
You wouldn't let me the other day.
Yeah, he's actually a really good dog.
I'm great with dogs.
I know you are. I know you. You have Forrest. I was going to ask you, is Forrest going to make the front page of the Yes Realty Partners photography shoot?
I think it will make it before I do.
Well, because he's on. Forrest is on it now.
Yonna will put Forrest above my picture.
No.
Oh, yeah.
Right now it's
Oh, yeah.
Yonna in the lead slot,
But
you in the 2 slot.
Yonna and I were talking
Forrest
about this
is ahead of
yesterday.
some of the-
Any grandparents. We never had a little boy, and Yonna's like really eating this up because she's always wanted to have a boy, her own little boy. She never had this, so she's just like smothering poor Harry to death. But he's doing all these like kindergarten, 5th grade,
Yeah.
1st grade, poop jokes and stuff like that. What did he said to me? We were.
Donna Price, hello. Welcome
Hey, Donna.
to the show. We love you, Donna.
Hey, Donna. He went up to bed and he turns around and goes, "Smell you later." And went upstairs.
Judah's loving this off
I said,
camera.
"Where did that come from?"
Smell you later. How did Yonna respond?
Huh?
Ray Cadell, welcome to the
Hey,
broadcast.
Ray, how you doing, buddy?
Scott Thorpe, we love you. Beth Mark, hello.
Ray, ask a question. I want to answer it. Ask me
Counselor
any
Snook,
question.
welcome to the show. Jeff Camrath, welcome to the show. Viewers and listeners, let us know your thoughts. We'll relay it live on
Smell
air.
you later.
Do you think the push to affordability in any capacity is a viable reality in the city? I mean, that's what they're talking on. First, how about the quote from Michael Payne in today's newspaper? Michael Payne in the newspaper today basically said, I don't think anyone really knew. I mean, you and I follow this. But Michael Payne literally said in today's newspaper, I don't think anyone really knew that we're in the middle of budget season and we're increasing taxes across the board. And I think they're going to find out when their bills come out. That's literally what he said.
Yeah.
There was a meeting on Monday that was so sparsely attended, and this was the budget approval meeting, the budget adoption meeting, and no one spoke during the public comment portion of the meeting about increasing the taxes in Charlottesville. Not a single person spoke in opposition.
So what is our area median income?
$124,200, according to HUD.
so that-
Family household.
That's family households,
Yeah.
right? So that's a house,
Yeah.
right? And a house pays taxes. So at that price point, a small increase, whatever that might be, may be less impactful. And the people that are suffering the most are at the lower income retirees, people on fixed income, and it just is going to kind of spread it. But he's 100% right. I mean, but look, that is not exclusive to the city of Charlottesville. I've been doing this. Donna's watching, right? I've been doing this. Donna Price, former chairperson.
We love Donna Price.
Absolutely. Former chairperson.
Donna, we love you.
Former chairperson of the Albemarle County Board of Supervisors. I'm sure if she were to chime in to say you get a handful of people that show up at the budget stuff, right? It's usually the same group of people. It's the same in Fluvanna, Greene, Nelson, Louisa. And to quote Ned Galloway, a current Albemarle County Board of Supervisors.
Love Ned Galloway.
If you really want to know how your government is going to function in any given period, follow the budget season. And that starts somewhere around November-ish and kind of ends here. So it's a long process. It's very open in public out that way, but very few people show up. And thank you to Neil Williamson.
Neil Williamson's got a comment, 2 comments. I love Neil Williamson.
Who's reporting.
Flying chest bumps all around for Neil Williamson.
Yeah, who's reporting this stuff out, so at least you can get an opportunity to read this stuff later in the day. Look, most of these meetings are held when normal working people can't attend, right? So, hats off to Neil, and I'm going to do a little quick plug here. Pull down on Real Talk with Keith Smith, the partners tab, donate to the man, donate to the free, come on, help me out, Enterprise.
Free Enterprise Forum.
Thank you, Free Enterprise Forum. Thank you, sir, for saving me. He needs it. If you want to continue to read his awesome stuff and get knowledge, you need to donate.
So, Neil, we'll get to your comments. I'm going to read Michael Payne's quote in today's newspaper verbatim from Councilor Payne, the 2-time counselor. He says, quote, "My completely honest interpretation is I think the vast majority of people have no idea that the city just voted on a budget. I think the first time they are going to be aware that a tax increase came in is when they get the personal property tax bill for their car," end quote.
And then they'll hit the panic button because this process started.
And he said it's been a dramatically significant drop in community engagement since pre-pandemic. He said during the pandemic when we were, on lockdown, there was more engagement. Even before COVID, there was more engagement. He said now we're at some of the lowest levels he's ever seen for community engagement at council meetings.
Maybe, people are back to work, right? They have less time to engage. It's times on meetings, right? So,
is it a reflection of a wealthier community that really
does
not care as much?
I'm sure there's some level of that. The point I'm trying to make is, and Neil will correct me if I'm wrong, right? But his famous thing, right? Seats available. Hashtag. Sorry about that. Hashtag.
I think his most famous one is more housing everywhere for everyone.
I agree
I
with.
Seats
I
take that back. Seats available is his most famous.
It's his most prevalent.
Yeah, both of those are pretty prevalent.
That hurt, by the way.
What, prevalent?
Yeah, that hurt. Might need a minute. Okay.
Prevalent. Prevalent. That was a 3-syllable word.
I know.
Wow.
I know.
Oh my goodness. Stumped the distinguished gentleman.
Yeah. Look, I'm trying to stump myself and it ain't working. So.
All right, get him some crayons.
Did you say that into the mic with yourself on camera, or was that the voice of God over there?
That was the voice of God.
So what did you say? Because I'm going to add to it.
I said.
Can you put yourself on a 3-shot? And then we'll get to
that would be helpful.
Then we'll get to Neil's Stump the Distinguished Gentleman.
I said, quick, somebody get him a crayon.
So Google United States Marine Corps and crayons. We are called crayon eaters.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, you said that.
And so put an if you don't mind, God, with a small G, find a meme on that and throw a meme up there or with that. Go ahead, stump me.
Neil Williamson, he's got this comment. We love when Neil watches the show. First, he says, any bets, and this is a great question for you, Donna Price, too. Great question for Lonnie Murray as well. Any bets on how many folks speak at Albemarle County's budget hearing tonight? Any bets on how many folks speak at Albemarle County's budget hearing tonight? He also says this.
Is that a loaded question? Because did they not limit their number of speakers?
In person? For what it's worth, he says, for what it's worth, state law requires assessment must be market rate. Electeds choose priorities and a locality budget must balance. Tax rates and relief programs are dictated by elected officials. Sounds like 2 of the 3 legs of the stool are controlled by elected officials. And I will also highlight this as I ride the coattails of Mr. Williams' comment.
Well, I disagree with that. I actually think all 3 are, because sometimes are they really getting the assessments to market value, right? Sometimes, right, we've had this discussion before, right, off air. How come the tax assess is $1 and homes are selling for $1.50, right? So anyway, but he's right. Two legs definitely control.
I will give council some props as we have one watching the show. Ellie Tucker, welcome to the broadcast as well. I will give council some props. They voted Monday night to increase the threshold at which people can get full exemption.
Correct.
On personal property tax. Previously, any vehicle worth $1,000 or less would be exempt. That threshold has increased to $1,500 or less. Here's an interesting statistic that I didn't know.
I'd love to see what that $1,500 vehicle is, though. Right?
Here's an interesting statistic I didn't know. Natalie Ostrin, in the council meeting on Monday, said 75% of the automobiles in the city are valued at $15,000 or less. 75% of the vehicles in the city, $15,000 or less.
I get the 15,000.
I found that, I trust but verify is my mindset. I'm not.
Who said that?
Natalie Ostrin.
No. Who said trust but verify?
Tell me.
Reagan.
Ronald Reagan.
Yeah.
Yeah. Right. Reagan was great, right?
I was very blessed. I got to meet him a bunch of times when I was in Marine Corps Garden.
Trust but verify. I am not doubting the counselor Natalie Ostrin, but 75% of the vehicles valued at $15,000
so I get
or less.
the $15,000.
I was taking a bet. You think that's
the $15,000 I get. The floor,
really?
The floor
in today's used car market.
The floor. I think the real number is something to 15,000, right?
Neil says, Keith, no limit to the number of public speakers. That's state law. No limit.
Got it.
The 15,000.
Thank you, Neil.
75% of vehicles at 15,000 valuation or less in the city of Charlottesville. I found that hard to believe.
Yeah,
I'm not questioning you, Natalie Ostrin.
Yeah,
found it hard to believe.
I take it on face value, but it doesn't shock me. If the vehicle's 5 or 6 years old, right? Hey, here's a great opportunity to dovetail that into housing. What depreciates? Cars.
Not during COVID, they didn't.
Okay, well that's unicorn stuff.
Yeah.
In the real world, right? In the normal thing, they depreciate, right? The old thing is you buy a brand new car, you drive it off the lot. What does it lose? About a third in its value.
I mean, we have a 2019 Ford Explorer Platinum. It's a 5-year-old vehicle. That's not even close to $15K in value.
I'm focusing.
What's your truck? You got a Tundra?
Tacoma. 2017 Tacoma.
2007 Toyota Tacoma?
Yeah, it's a limited.
Limited? Mm-hmm. Okay, let me see what that is.
4-door.
Okay, 4-door. It's driven by Keith Smith. That's $10,000 alone. That's not even close to $15K.
I don't know. What is it?
I mean, depending on where you shop, mid-20s.
Really? Huh.
27?
Well, I don't know. I've been eyeing up that Rivian pickup truck. That thing's paid off. I might get into more debt.
Well, I guess my point is 75% at $15,000 or less.
Yeah,
I trust but verify is all I'm saying.
Yeah.
Not challenging the counselor.
Yeah. There's some number, whatever that number is, 15 or whatever. I think it's in between. But what I was going with, vehicles in a normal environment depreciate. What appreciates?
Homes.
Real estate.
Yeah. Real estate certainly appreciates. Keith Smith dropped in.
And another interesting thing is part of the reason I won't buy a new truck, other than why do I need one? It's only got 50,000 miles on it. It's in great condition.
Fantastic shape.
Yeah. But I wouldn't want to buy a new truck and have
Toyotas run forever.
And have to pay the taxes on it.
Right.
The personal property taxes on it.
Right. Well, and what's Fluvanna's position there?
You know what? I think, and Neil will again, seats available. back to supporting Neil, back to this budget stuff, look, historically, most local politics meetings are not well attended. Otherwise, Neil would have never coined the hashtag.
I guess
seats
Payne's
available.
point was they were previously much better attended.
Well, I think a lot of that.
That's his point.
Yeah, and could it been the rezoning sparked a lot of attendance? Could it been
Has
COVID?
apathy set in?
Yeah,
Has apathy set
I think
in?
that's I got to look that word up, stump kind of thing.
Three-shot Judah Wickauer.
Yeah, so
Has apathy set in, Judah?
yeah,
you wanna-
I know what apathy means, and it could be,
Mary
right?
Kay, welcome to the show.
It could be. Everybody's now in the. I think a lot of it. What happened is, life is getting in the way, right? People are busy taking care of 5-year-old grandkids, right? Taking care of children, businesses, so forth and so on. It feels like, big picture, we're back to more normal. And I'm sure he attended meetings prior to 2019, Michael. I'm sure,
certainly did.
I'm sure he did. To me, it looks like normal attendances, normal engagement. There's nothing on the agenda that is sexy. Budgets are not sexy.
I mean, tax increases are,
I get that. That's to you and I,
guess.
but to the average person, it's probably not too sexy.
Stephen Peters, welcome to the broadcast.
Hey,
He's
Stephen.
watching the show. He's got some comments for
We're
you.
going to see him in a little while.
He says, maybe the citizens know the elected officials are from one party and only consider the increase is, quote, the cost of pizza and a beer. They will let us talk but will not listen. Let them eat cake.
What a reference there. Who said that? Let him
Stephen
eat cake?
Peters.
No, who let eat
you'd
cake?
have to tell me
know
that.
that.
I think so.
Three-shot Judah Wickauer?
Come on,
Is
come on.
it,
Let him eat cake.
Marie Antoinette?
Say that again?
Is it Marie Antoinette?
There you go. Let him eat
Judah
cake.
Wickauer.
I think that was shortly before she lost her head.
I think so.
Shortly.
I don't think the.
I think she had the cake, and then that was it.
Yeah, I don't think the everyday people appreciated that.
The everyday people did not. That was probably part of the let him eat cake. That's a French
So he's basically
revolutionary.
saying if there's, one party control and domination, what's the point of even showing up?
Yeah.
That's what he said.
But that's been the politics for quite a while, right? We really haven't had a lot of two-way debate, and that's national.
You have it in Fluvanna.
Not really, no. It's pretty one-sided. Fluvanna's pretty one-sided.
How would you characterize Fairchild?
A conservative, yeah. It's pretty much leaning to one side.
You
Fluvanna.
say conservative?
Oh, yeah, sure.
Yeah?
Fluvanna County is historically
Red?
Democrat, Republican, excuse me. Yeah.
Purple? Red.
It was purple for a while when the board was kind of split between Democrats and Republicans. But when the Democrats were there, they got certain things approved that they wanted, and when the Republicans are in charge, or the right side, left side, I'll tell you. I'll just now that this is all open topics today. I've said it before on the show, and I'll continue to say it. I think all local politics should be absolutely devoid
Of political party.
of
Affiliation.
national affiliations.
Yeah.
Everybody should run as independents, right? Local, all politics are local, and local politics impact people. Not that at the federal and state level it doesn't, but we're having this discussion about taxes. It impacts people that, and I think Neil will correct me if I'm wrong. I think Fluvanna is kind of staying neutral across the board. So I think we're going to have a flat year from a tax perspective. Next year is going to be a tricky one for them
Why do you say that?
because they didn't assess this year. They assess every other year. And Neil, correct me if I'm wrong here. They assess every other year. So next year they're going to assess. And it's going to be really hard. Right? Keith Smith and Yonna Smith, when we got assessed 2 years ago, it was the number I felt was inflated, and I contested it. Right? I appealed it. And I provided the data. I am not going to be able to do that next year. It's going to be really, really, really hard when I'm in my neighborhood when there's homes with 6s in them and 7s in them in the front that prior to the pandemic would have a 4 in them, right, or a 3 in front of them. It exploded in value. So it's going to be really, really, really hard for me to do that. And the budgets are not going to probably go down, even if it stays flat, right? They're going to have to drop the rate down. But we'll see how it goes next year.
Queen of Keswick, Olivia Branch, welcome to the broadcast. We love you, Olivia Branch. She's a mover or shaker in this community and knows it inside and out. Mr. Williamson says, Charlottesville Councilor Natalie Ostrin, her push for higher personal property rates is entirely consistent with her anti-car, pro-transit, walkability campaign. And I'll add to his comment. This campaign, this platform she ran upon last year, earned her the most votes of anyone elected to the dais last election cycle. She was dominant with her campaign. I will make this argument. Pushing for a higher tax on personal property is not going to de-emphasize or deprioritize cars in the community. And look at what she's done so far. She's talked road diet, shrinking the width of roads in the community. She's talked higher taxes on personal property. She's pushing sidewalks, bicycles, running, and public transit, all consistent with how she campaigned. So we are 3.5 months into her first year on the dais. And in those 3.5 months, she has held true to what she was going to run upon.
And guess what you need to do? Respect that.
Oh, 100%. That's what I'm trying to do here. I'm giving her props.
You need to respect that.
I'm giving her props, 100%.
And she's a rookie, right? She may have been involved in some politics at some level, but she's a rookie.
That's fair.
And she's going to learn. It requires other people to come along with you, which
she did with the personal property. She took an emphasis off meals and pushed it to vehicles, and she persuaded counselors to vote with her.
So regardless, if you think
I was impressed with, frankly. I don't agree with it, but I was impressed with it.
Regardless if you agree with it or disagree with it, that's how it's supposed to work.
Yeah.
Right? Whoever wants to impact something, it's their job to convince 3 other votes, whatever your split is on the votes to move forward. And again, now as a cyclist, more bike lanes would make me very happy.
Would you say it's a bicycle-friendly city?
It is. For me, it's not.
Well, I mean, I think most would agree with you.
Yeah, it's.
Would you feel safe riding your bike around the city?
You're asking the wrong guy.
Because you're a risk taker.
I like riding in traffic.
Yeah, I know you do. But you said you don't feel safe.
Don't tell my wife. No, there is not enough dedicated
bike lanes. Consistent
bike lanes, and they stop and they start and yada yada yada. And this stuff is extremely expensive, very difficult to put together. But you're talking to a guy that rides a bike from my house at Lake Monticello to Richmond on Route 6, right? So traffic doesn't scare me that much at all. My New Yorker comes in and say, "Hey, I'm walking here," kind of thing. What movie was that from?
I'm walking here, kind of thing. Is it My Cousin Vinny?
Was that from? No.
What?
Midnight Cowboy.
Judah, would you have gotten that?
I would not have got that.
Yeah, it's a New Yorker thing. That's where I'm walking here.
I'm walking here.
What's
your favorite movie?
We went through this before.
Casablanca.
That is, if it's got a minute left in it, I'm watching the last minute, or if it's in the beginning of it, that is my favorite movie. I'll watch it. It drives Yonna nuts. She'll get up and leave.
What's Yonna's favorite movie?
Shawshank Redemption.
Oh, that was a good one. Tim Robbins?
Yeah, Shawshank.
Tim Robbins is amazing in that.
She'll watch that no matter what it's in. My second movie is Lawrence of Arabia.
Lawrence of Arabia. Judah, you seen that one?
It is shot.
It's not. Dune takes a lot of inspiration from Lawrence of Arabia.
I was literally just going to say that. It's why I like Dune. I'm watching Fallout now. Have you guys heard about Fallout?
Yeah, I started watching it just last weekend.
Yeah, and so I come at this stuff.
I think my wife was watching that last night.
Yeah, so it's pretty unique as a late boomer. I remember, like, when I was Trey's age, 5, 6, 7, and 8, we did these, Fallout drills, right? Duck and cover, go underneath your desk, bend over and kiss you-know-what goodbye.
Why don't they do that anymore?
I don't know, but that was, when late 60s, early 70s.
Do kids still pledge of allegiance to the flag in public schools?
I have no idea. Don't know. Somebody.
You've got kids in school.
I don't. Yeah, it's been decades since I've had kids in school. But what I found out interesting about that was, I was coming from that perspective. It's just like a flashback. I remember as a kid, there was fallout shelters in the schools, and there were these drills that would happen on a regular basis for it. But as the father of a daughter who's a makeup artist, I look at these movies now differently. I look at the makeup work. That's what I'm focusing on, the special effects work. And Yaz is up in Philly doing
That's his oldest.
Thank you. Is up in Philly doing a
movie?
Yeah, a movie, but with A-list actors that I wasn't allowed to see when I was up there, talk to, or even know what their names are, because apparently I've got a big mouth and I'll tell everybody about it. But she's been hired just to do the tattoo work, and this is a very tattoo-heavy movie, like full facial tattoos, head tattoos, and it was really cool to watch her do her trade.
Throw this to you, Keith Smith. Has the spring market sprung and concluded?
No, I think no for the concluded, yes for it sprung, but I think it sprung in January, and it's just been climbing ever since, and we've been watching this day over day over day religiously. And it's climbing up. I don't think you're going to see a leveling off. It depends, if this interest rate goes up, it could impact, everybody's kind of got used to the 6s and the 7s in the 30-year mortgage. It's my vibe on what's going on, right, on that end of it. If it jumps back up to 8, certain buyers are just going to peel off, but the pool is so deep. All that's going to happen is people that can do it will bring.
Where are most of the buyers coming from? Out of town?
They're all over the map, right?
Yeah.
I would say, since we talked about this the other day, we're number one in the state. I think it was, forget the name of the app that did it, Move Booter or Buddha Move or something like that.
On your Facebook page, I saw that.
Yeah, so we're number one in the state of Virginia for people to move to, is the Charlottesville region, 17 in the country. So people are coming.
Folks wondering if you see any fallout with Iran, Israel, and impacting us domestically. I don't think so. Maybe higher cost of goods.
Yeah, that's a
You want to touch that one?
No, I mean, as far as it directing towards housing and stuff like that for the moment, I don't really see it. I'll leave my opinion to myself on
Well, I'm
it.
curious of your opinion.
We'll talk off air on that.
Yeah?
Yeah, we'll talk off air on that. I could tell you, Yonna and I see it two different ways.
Really?
Yeah.
She is.
No, don't bait me.
Okay. Okay.
I'm
actually intrigued now.
I'm gonna be respectful for that. Yonna asked me to stay away from it. So
This question's come in. Keith, good morning. Your thoughts on the car presentation from the attorney on Monday on changes in July? This is from Mustache Dan Pettit. Hold on one second. Are all your agents, do they have to go through Yonna to negotiate with their clients?
So I'm glad they did it.
Well, you want to set the table?
Yeah, so I think it was on Monday, Carr brought in the Virginia, and I was busy, I didn't attend it, but I read all the material that was sent out, and I had some folks in the office watch it. Look, they brought in an attorney for VR, Virginia Realtors, to do a Q&A and do a presentation. If you've been following this at all and following what we've been talking about, you didn't, from my perspective, you didn't learn anything new. We didn't learn anything new out of that. There was a FAQ that was sent out that was helpful, but there was nothing. If you've been paying attention to this before it happened, like we've been doing since 2019, if you pay attention since it actually got announced, in my opinion, there was nothing new in there that we didn't learn. As far as our office is concerned, we've always given our agents latitude, right? Everything is negotiable. Our really hard stop is we do not and will never do dual agency. If a client, if a listing or buyer's agent or listing agent needs to set up something because of a relationship that they've negotiated, we don't put handcuffs on them, right? We encourage them. They need to look at their business model, right? Because our job, what we bring to the table is we coach and mentor all our partners, right? And we will point out to them, we'll take a look at how that's going to impact your business plan, your business model, your P&Ls, and all that great stuff. And if you're cool with it, we're cool with it. But the big thing is no dual agency. And my hope is somewhere down the line, much like Florida, the legislature says no more dual agency.
We got Dan Pennant asking a follow-up question. First, I'll give some props to Maggie Gunnels watching the program.
Hey, Maggie.
Juan Sarmiento, thank you for watching the program. Donna Patton, we appreciate you quite
Donna.
a bit watching the show.
Couldn't do this without you, Donna. You're awesome.
No negotiations have to be run through the broker.
Well, the broker controls everything. So the short answer to that is the broker has to have a policy to okay things. I just shared what ours is.
Yeah.
Right? They'll talk to us, right? But we will never get in the way of what an agent is trying to do to help their client.
So, Dan, I agree with this comment. He goes, if rates fall or even stay consistent, people will still buy and prices will still escalate.
I don't disagree with that. I think all that's...
We've seen that.
Yeah, we went through this before.
Yeah.
All it's going
October, November, December.
All it's going to do is I use this analogy all the time.
Make things more expensive.
Well, that track's happening regardless, right? The year-over-year increase is there. It's just how much, right? Is it double-digit? Is it low single digits? Where is it? And we track that stuff religiously, and we share it with everybody. That aircraft carrier is going, right? That ain't stopping. The question becomes is what depth of water that aircraft is in, which is your buyers, right? So is it super deep with buyers, or if the interest rates go up, it starts carving some of the buyers off of it and makes that pool a little thinner. But that pool is still going to be substantial versus the inventory. And I had this conversation. As the land trust chair and so forth, and so we're reselling. We're doing a resale, and I don't want to get into the specifics because it'll take a lot longer to explain it. But I'm helping a single mother buy her first home through this program. And it's a resale, one of the new construction units that we did with Stanley Martin 2 years ago. And she kept on asking me, well, how come there isn't more houses built here? Young person. And I said, well, when 25% of new construction is regulatory expenses, it's pretty hard to make things affordable. And when you take 6-7 years to get a project approved, assuming you can get it approved, it makes things expensive. And, you kind of have to navigate this whole not in my backyard thing, right? Everybody wants housing affordability, but nobody wants it in their backyard. It's always in somebody else's yard. And these are difficult things to navigate, and the elected officials and state and all that stuff can influence it a little bit. But again, to stay on Neil Williamson, quoting him today, it starts with a ready, willing, and able seller, right? So you got to get it under contract first at a reasonable number that makes everything else work. But because the expenses are so high and time is so long, it's very difficult to buy something at an inflated market price, if that makes sense.
That makes perfect sense.
So, if we had, she just kept on saying, well, how come there aren't more of these being built? How come more of these aren't being built? And I said, well, follow Neil Williamson.
Interestingly, Neil highlighted this as well. Interesting, you're starting to get a little movement in Albemarle County about expanding the developmental area.
Yeah, so I am...
To your point.
I'm super excited about it. I'd like to think some of the conversations we've been having openly on set and privately has kind of influenced that a little bit that they need to start looking at it. So it is not a flat out no, because it's been a flat out no forever. Now it is, okay, we need to look at it. And I think they're now starting to understand that there really isn't 5% left, right? Nobody really knows what the percentage amount is. But in any event, it's going in the right direction. So thanks, hats off to Neil and everybody else.
Viewers and listeners, let us know your thoughts on that comment. We'll relay it live on air. Keith, the rate conversation I'm seeing on the feed right now, because it's dominating the national feed. We are dominating our feed right here. The rate is proven not to impact movement of inventory here. We got to emphasize that again.
Got it. So I thought you were talking about the potential increase of the Fed rate.
No.
You're talking about it really hasn't impacted.
Right.
We proved the numbers. Even when we were north of 8, sales were happening and values were increasing. Was it at the same pace as
you should do the year over year again.
Yeah.
Maybe next show.
Yeah, we can.
And Q1 2023 versus Q1 2024 was a 3% increase in Albemarle County.
Yeah, well, we actually did that. We've got slides that we did, and we can bring them.
Are they
back
on realtalkwithkeithsmith.com? Did he put them up?
I don't think we put them up yet.
We should put them up.
Yeah, we probably should. So
Did you get the car Q1 report coming out soonish?
Yeah, it takes 4 to 6 weeks, 5 weeks to do that. We got it out the week after, and Judah has actual slides from previous shows, and I'm not going to do that to him. I actually got one handy here in front of me because I thought this might come up. Comparison of total homes and medium sales price for Q1 versus Q2, because Q1 23 to Q1 24 for the full car footprint, right? That includes new construction, townhomes, single-family detached. Quarter over quarter, we were down 8%, but up in 9% in in price points. So we're down 8% in volume, up in 9%. Some jurisdictions actually had the opposite. Greene County, I think, was one of them. But I think that was just kind of waiting for some new construction to hit the market. I think when we do this at the 6-month swath, it'll be a little bit better and healthier look at it. But at a quick end of the quarter, full footprint of car, sales volume was down 8%, price was up 9%.
You come prepared.
No, I just happened to.
It's in your possession.
I just happened to pull a stack of papers out of my book bag and go, what the heck we're going to talk about today? How about this?
You come prepared. Michael Guthrie, good morning,
hey,
my
Michael,
friend. Thank you for watching the
program. Thank you for all you do, Michael. You're
Michael
awesome.
Guthrie, good guy. Jesse Rutherford,
hey,
my
Jesse.
friend. We should get Jesse on the program. I haven't seen Jesse in a minute.
I talked to Jesse the other day.
You talk to him often, don't you?
I try to, yeah. He's always awesome.
Supervisor in Nelson County, by the way.
Yeah, he's good to talk to. He's always fun to talk to.
State Senator waiting to happen, Jesse Rutherford.
Yeah.
Vanessa Parkhill, Queen of
think
Burleysville.
so?
Yeah.
We got to see what his wife says about that.
Come on. She's very supportive of his political ambitions.
We'll see.
You disagree?
That's a big.
Newly married Jesse Rutherford.
That's a big commitment.
Outkicked his coverage, giving you some props there, Rutherford.
Well, it didn't take much. I mean, I'm sorry.
Come on. Jesse.
Couldn't pass that one up.
My boy.
Jesse. Yeah, he's doing some awesome work out there. I think, if I remember the conversation, I think Nelson County went up its tax rate, I think, a penny. I think it was. I may be
We should
wrong.
hear from the. We should hear from the.
We should bring him in. Actually, him and one other. We probably need to start going back to that.
The Fridays were great.
The round tables.
With the
Yeah.
roundtables.
I wanted to kind of this decoupling was a big thing. And
You covered it well.
I think we covered.
I'd say
it.
you covered as well as anyone locally, regionally.
I don't know about that, but we should start getting back into our political.
So far, we really have not had an impact with the decoupling, which is kind of what you were saying.
Yeah.
Time will tell. You want to say that?
Well, it's interesting. It's starting to move forward. I had a couple of listings out there that when agents called on the other side, they did what we talking about. So tell me what your seller's offering. So I think over time, business practices are going to start moving in that direction, right? Talking to the agent on the other side. Tell me what your seller is offering, right? You're going to start seeing addendums to the contract to confirm all that stuff. I mean, it's got to be attached to, I don't know any other way. Maybe somebody smarter than me can figure it out. But I've been talking to about a half a dozen lawyers. I don't know any other way that this can guarantee the buyer's agent gets paid is it's got to work its way into the contract or be a separate agreement amongst everybody. Otherwise, how do they guarantee to get paid? They can go to the closing table and the seller can say, I'm not going to pay that. So how does that dovetail together? And the second part of that is these regulatory, and we're starting to see that, right? Because NAR also reached out to the VA to say, hey guys, you got to start including this in there because it's going to start hurting veterans. And as a disabled vet, or I take that seriously. So that's going to have to start. So you're going to start seeing this stuff working its way in. But communication is key, man. And I'm glad to hear that there's a couple of agents that at least calling me and say, okay, let's talk about this. What is your seller offering? So I think we're going in the right direction.
Any update on new construction of homes or townhomes in Fluvanna County? And can the county handle more with water issues? From the one, the only, Daniel.
So I actually drove through that subdivision, Colonial Circle, yesterday to see where it's going. I think it looks like they're ready to start going vertical with their attached and detached. I don't know for a fact. I'm just looking at it from a developer's eye. Okay, this is ready to go on it. As far as water goes, there's always been plenty of water. Water's never been the issue. It's the pressure that was always the issue. Volume, they have like an extra 1 million gallons of water to give. It's the sewer that's the tricky part. Sewer, they don't have that. They have enough to give for the developments that's happening, but I think they're getting close to a cap out on their sewer capacity. Water, they got an extra 1 million. Water volume they've got 1 million gallons. To put it in perspective, Lake Monticello uses between 500,000 to 600,000 gallons a day. So there's enough volume of water there to reproduce Lake Monticello in a second time. It's the pressure that's why pump stations got to be built and so forth and so on.
How many undeveloped lots left in Spring Creek?
That's a great question. I don't know it. The last time I knew the number, it was 600. I don't know what has changed in the last year or so in that. But the way they develop that is a little bit different, right? So they have a master plan for the whole subdivision that's been approved, and then they're selling off chunks of land to builders who then are developing that portion. So there's a master plan that's approved. Let's say there's 1,200 lots maximum. Let's say there's 600, and you and I want to get together and buy, I don't know, X acres of land that allows another 50 to 100 homes. Then we get the site plan for that. We build it. So the developer is only selling off chunks of land under the approval process through Louisa County, and then the developers are doing. So that's why you have like different neighborhoods that are different builders, right? So one section is all whatever, and the other section is a different builder.
That neighborhood is primed.
Yeah, well, it's primed. It's up against. Thank you, Yvonne. It's up against a max number. There's no more room to grow. That's it, right? Because it backs up to Green Springs, right? So the northern portion of it backs up to which is a protected area, historical protected area. So it's not going to go that way, right? So where is the development going to go? It's pretty limited on the Fluvanna side because the growth area isn't that large there. So you're going to start looking. I see, in my opinion, in Louisa, the next two areas are going to be the Ferncliff area because that's where they're building the water plant, excuse me. And the mineral area. Mineral Louisa is starting to see a lot of activity in very what I call spot new construction, where somebody buys a 10-acre lot that has 1,000 feet and they cut it up into 2-acre lots. But major subdivisions, I think you're going to start seeing moving towards the Ferncliff exit It's right on 64. You
It's
got
good
it
knowledge right here,
in and
folks.
out. Well, don't tell anybody.
This is good stuff right here.
So that's where I think you're going to see, and we know for a fact Greene County's got a ton of stuff in the pipeline. It's just a matter of when before it hits the market.
I'll throw this to you, and this is a non-real estate question. I see the time. Well, non-real estate question for you. Have you been to the Good Sport in the Kipton Hotel, the bar?
I'm not allowed to walk into Kipton.
Why is that?
Too expensive.
The Kipton Hotel,
Yonna
Right.
says not allowed to go in.
right next to the Darden School. My wife and I enjoyed Vivace, the Good Sport in the Kipton Hotel, and then finished at the library bar, the hotel bar at the Keswick Hall. I think you very much would like
Oh, I would love it if it's Yonna just
the
would
Good
take.
Sport at Kipton Hotel.
Yeah, Yonna would just take all.
You guys go to Tabla. Stop joking around. all
I
the
have
time.
no. I have a limited amount of money I'm allowed to spend every day. She puts it on the card.
The Kipton.
Yeah.
Check it out. Take her there.
Well, the only reason I know about that is we're working on, we meaning the Regional Housing Partnership, are working on our summit, right, for next year. And we were looking at the cost to hold it there, the housing summit. Whoa,
Oh,
just insane.
they're going after the creme de la creme.
Yeah. Thank you very much.
And
This
they'll get it.
Yeah, well, they'll get it, but not the Regional Housing Partnership.
Right. I'm just highlighting. I think you guys would enjoy it.
Oh yeah. Well,
You and
we'll
Yonna.
go, we'll go do that. But at the moment, we're a little busy with a 5-year-old.
He's got his 5-year-old. Keith Smith carried the show. Yes Realty Partners. YesRealtyPartners.com. He is a realtor, ladies and gentlemen. He will help you. I know firsthand. Buy, sell, real estate. Keith Smith is very good at his job, and so is the team at Yes Realty
And
Partners.
if not, ask Yonna.
Yes Realty Partners. Go to realtalkwithkeithsmith.com. All the shows are archived there, and click the Partners tab,
Please.
where you will see the trusted partners in the
please.
game we call real estate that you can count on to get you through closing and beyond. Judah Wickauer
Without
behind the
them,
camera.
we couldn't do this. So
100%.
Please.
Absolutely. My friend,
Yeah.
what number was this?
611.
611.
611.
Real Talk with Keith Smith in the books.
But we've had a pre-meeting to this meeting, and I'm on my 3rd cup of coffee, so we need to wrap up.
He's got to hit the head.
We need to wrap
Judah,
up.
thank you for joining us. And the
Can
I
I,
Love CVille
can I
show
close
at
on some
12:30.
marine eating crayon
Oh yeah,
memes?
did you find one?
Yeah.
Did you put it up?
I'll put them up now.
Yeah. It is a. You just want me to keep my legs crossed a little
Marines
bit.
No, no,
eating
you can
crayons.
go
Let
if you
the man
want.
go to the bathroom.
We got memes on the screen. You can go.
Oh, I can go.
There you go. There's me. It's not your fault, guys. The crayon box did look a lot like a Marine. An MRE.
MRE, yeah.
Meal ready to eat.
Yeah.
Here's
So,
here's
so
another
to
one.
put that in perspective, when I was in the Marine Corps, it was sea rats from World War II. We used to call them John Waynes. So it's like a little handheld can opener, open up a can. They call them John Waynes.
John Waynes.
Yeah, it's a Marine Corps
He's
stuff.
dating himself a little bit,
It's
too.
dead.
Thank you for joining us on Real Talk with Keith Smith. So long, everybody. Judah Wickauer saving the memes till the end over there. Let the man go to the bathroom.
Thanks,
All
John.
right, all right.
Thanks, dude.
Very nicely done. You have to go. You have to head.